Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 25th August 2026. Today we're diving into some pivotal developments, from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. Our top story today: Porsche is pairing a major consulting divestiture with a planned long-term digital and artificial intelligence relationship. Porsche signed an agreement to sell its management and information technology consultancy MHP to Tata Consultancy Services, or TCS. The transaction still requires customary regulatory and competition approvals and is expected to close in the coming months. Porsche says MHP, which has more than 4,500 employees, will retain its brand and operate as an independent consultancy. Alongside the sale, Porsche, TCS, and MHP intend to collaborate on digital solutions and artificial intelligence, including developing, scaling, and integrating AI applications in key business areas. Independent reporting by The Next Web puts MHP's enterprise value at €320 million and describes a separate 5-year services commitment worth €1.25 billion. Porsche itself did not disclose those financial terms. The important distinction is that this is not yet a catalog of deployed AI systems. The companies have not named initial applications, rollout schedules, or performance results. For enterprise teams, the signal is the sourcing model. Porsche is selling a technology consultancy while preserving it as a strategic transformation partner and bringing TCS's AI and engineering capabilities into that relationship. From enterprise AI decisions to autonomous systems making lethal ones, the stakes change dramatically. A Russian drone using an experimental AI guidance system killed 3 civilians in Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine, on July 6th, according to Ukrainian officials, drone experts, and forensic investigators cited by the New York Times. The victims were Tetiana Bubinets, 19, Alexei Svirin, 41, and Roman Karpi, 48. The Times reported that human operators programmed the fixed-wing drone to travel toward a gas station, but near the destination, its onboard system selected the exact target, believed by experts and Ukrainian military officials to be propane tanks. The drone hit a wall before reaching those tanks. Ukrainian forensic investigators found NVIDIA Jetson Orin mini-computers in wreckage from drones used during reported tests from May through July. NVIDIA says Jetson Orin is intended for civilian robotics and machine vision and told The Times it does not sell the hardware in Russia, while noting that resale markets make downstream tracing difficult. Technically, the critical issue is the degree of autonomy. Earlier AI-assisted systems retained human confirmation before a strike. Investigators say this system delegated final target selection to the onboard computer. Public reporting does not identify its model architecture, training data, sensors, confidence thresholds, or safeguards, limiting conclusions about precisely how it made that decision. From edge computing under extreme conditions, we turn to a very different architecture challenge in enterprise infrastructure. IBM has unveiled a next-generation dual-architecture processor design for future IBM Z and Linux One systems, capable of executing ARM and IBM instruction sets on the same cores. IBM says this is the first processor milestone from its collaboration with ARM, established in April 2026. The 2-nanometer design has 11 high-performance cores running above 5.7 GHz, along with AI inference accelerators, an on-chip data processing unit for input and output acceleration, and a large cache architecture. VentureBeat reports that each core can switch between ARM software mode and IBM's architecture in nanoseconds. Crucially, IBM is not proposing separate ARM coprocessor cores. Every core is designed to execute ARM and IBM Z instructions, or ARM and Linux One instructions, placing both software ecosystems directly on shared silicon. IBM says the approach could bring ARM-native Linux environments alongside Z/OS and Linux on IBM Z, with security, encryption, and AI acceleration available to those workloads. There is no product availability date yet. For enterprise engineering teams, the eventual test will be software portability and mixed workload behavior, including compiler compatibility, observability, security controls, and performance isolation. From new processor architectures to machines operating in the physical world, robotics is attracting substantial capital. Xpeng says its robotics business has entered share purchase agreements for more than $900 million in its first funding round, at a post-money valuation above $6.3 billion. IDG Capital initiated the round, with Gaorong Ventures participating and Tencent and Alibaba supporting it as strategic investors. The transactions remain subject to closing conditions. CNEV Post, citing a Hong Kong Stock Exchange filing, identifies the robotics unit as Dogotix. Xpeng says the proceeds will fund robotics hardware and software research and development, physical AI model iteration, high-quality data generation, production facilities, and global commercial expansion. Its central product is the Iron humanoid robot, which Xpeng expects to enter mass production by the end of 2026. Initial deployments are planned for Xpeng stores and campuses, followed by launches and deliveries in China and overseas markets during 2027. Xpeng says Iron uses 3 in-house Turing AI chips, providing up to 2,250 TOPS of effective compute. Those production targets and specifications remain company claims and future milestones. The concrete tests are whether the financing closes, manufacturing scales reliably, and Iron demonstrates safe, useful operation beyond controlled sites. Staying with compute for demanding AI workloads, NVIDIA says Grok 3 LPX has entered full production alongside its Vera Rubin NVL72 platform. NVIDIA reported a median of 3,431 out tokens per second for Gemma 431B using a 100,000 token input in an artificial analysis benchmark. The LPX rack contains 256 interconnected local processing units. That benchmark is configuration-specific, so deployment decisions still require workload-level testing of latency, cost, reliability, and throughput. From inference performance to the data behind generative systems, Japan has adopted a voluntary principles code for AI providers. Domestic and overseas operators serving Japan are urged to disclose learning processes, types of training data, and collection methods. Participants notify the government and publish specified information online, with conditional disclosures addressing potential copyright concerns. The code is not legally binding, but it creates a government-backed transparency baseline around training data provenance and rights holder requests. That governance story connects directly to another scarce AI resource, infrastructure. Singapore's Economic Development Board and Infocom Media Development Authority provisionally allocated 50 megawatts each to Digital Realty, Equinix, Keppel Data Centers, and ST Telemedia Global Data Centers. The planned Jurong Island projects total 200 megawatts and carry green energy, liquid cooling, energy efficiency, and Green Mark Data Center Platinum commitments. The allocation is provisional capacity, not completed facilities, and project-level timelines were not disclosed. From physical infrastructure to securing the software stack, Anthropic says Claude Mythos 5 is now available through Claude Security and will extend to partner cyber defense tools. Anthropic also announced a $35 million Defender Advantage Fund for open-source security work and plans to broaden its cyber verification program. The key boundary is access. This is controlled defensive use, supported by safeguards and safety classifiers, rather than unrestricted cyber capability. Shifting from software security to AI's labor impact, Stanford Digital Economy Lab researchers found no widespread economy-wide AI job displacement through mid-2026. But using ADP payroll data, they found employment for workers aged 22 to 25 in highly AI-exposed occupations was 19% below a comparable low-exposure trend. Stanford says the pattern appears mainly in reduced hiring rather than separations. The researchers stress that the analysis is descriptive and does not establish AI as the cause. And finally, AI's growth is again meeting local infrastructure constraints. Georgetown Council approved Firmus Technologies' proposed 288-megawatt AI data center at Longreach near Bell Bay in northern Tasmania, with 6 of 7 councillors present voting in favor. Conditions include noise and air quality assessments and a revised emergency plan accounting for 276 diesel generators. People who made submissions have 14 days to appeal through the Tasmanian Civil and Administrative Tribunal. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.